So this section will be our final section, and we will adjust some extra things which will make our game to look much better, and then we will build our game. Now, in this video, I want to teach you how you can make damage effect of your player. And it means that we will make our screen to go red when our player gets damaged. And it's very common mechanics. And good thing is that the process will be completely same. So you can just take this mechanic and paste it in your other projects. Maybe if you are making, or you will make some other kind of shooting game, you will know how to make your screen go red, and it will be your very simple but impressive damage effect. Okay, now to create damage effect, we need to create some UI element, and we will need to create image. So into our canvas, right click, UI, and we will select image, and let's call it damage effects, just like this. Now let's select these anchor points right here. We will hold Alt and then this last one. Let's select this last one while holding Alt, and it will stretch our picture, our sprite, all the way across our screen. And now we are not able to see anything, which is exactly what we want. Then we will select this color, and we will make this color red, just like this. Now, what we want to do. Here we see that our color has standard elements RGB, and it also has this A element, which is for transparency. And if we, for example, decrease this to 0, now we have our normal screen back, but basically we can control this alpha value, and we can make some damage and red screen effects for our games. And just make sure that RGB is selected from 0 to 1, just like I have here, not the other ones. So by default, our alpha will be 0, so just make it 0. And now let's open our scripts folder. Let's create new C# script, and I called it UI controller. And I will drag this UI controller into my canvas. So let's drag and drop it there. And now our canvas have this UI controller. So let's double click and start working on it. First thing that we will need is to have few variables. One first variable will be to control to reference our damage effect image. And since we are gonna use images and UI, some UI elements, we will add here using Unity Engine.ui. Now we can say public image, and let's call it damage effect. Damage effects. Also, we need a variable for our alpha value, which is this one. And let's make alpha value public float, and let's call this one damage alpha. And by default, I will make it, I don't know, let's see. Let's go and make this, for example, 0.2. I think 0.2 will work fine. If something, we will change it. So 0.2, we will make this damage alpha by default 0.2f. Also, we will need to make some transition from our red screen back to our normal screen, and this transition I want to make some smooth, very smooth transition, which will look more professional. And for that, we want to have some fade speed. Now let's create a variable for it, public float, and let's call it damage fade speed. And let's make by default to be 0.5. I think it will work fine. If something, yes, we will change it later. Now let's create a new function, public void, and let's call this one show damage. And now what we want to do in this show damage, we should take our screen. So we should take this image, damage effect, And we should basically change color of it. We should change this alpha value. And to change this alpha value, we just need to say damage effect dot color equals. Then we should create new color, just like we did with our when we did our movement and when we created new vectors, if you remember. With the colors, it's same. We just need to create new color, and this color will take few variables, and we just can't say that we want to change alpha only. We just need to refer some on all of the parts, so we should say RGB as well, and we should leave RGB unchanged. That's why we can say damage effect dot color dot alpha, not alpha, R, comma, damage effect dot color dot RG, G, comma, damage effect dot color and dot B, and only after that, after comma, we are able to say what alpha value we want, and we want our alpha to be 0.2, for example, and let's save this script. Now, we already have this function of show damage, but Unity doesn't know where to and when to call this function just yet. So it will be logical to call this function when our player gets damaged. It means that we want to call it from our player health, from here, because in deal damage function, because here we are getting damage. And for that, it means that we need to access this UI controller script from other scripts. That's why we will make some instance for our script. So public static UI controller instance. After that, we will create a wake function and we will say instance equals this. Very nice. We can save this script, and now we should go in the player health, and here we will say UI controller dot instance dot show damage, and that's it. Everything should work now. So now let's save our script, both of our scripts, and let's go back in Unity. Obviously, we only have our damage effect, but we don't have any mechanics that will transition us back to normal. But first of all, let's see if everything is working. Let's select our canvas, and we should add this damage effect here. So we will drag this damage effect there, and let's start playing and let's get damaged. Now let's see if our screen goes red at all. Where is bullets of enemies? Let them shoot. Okay, there is one bullet, but we have all. Okay, this bullet will hit us. And as you see, our screen really goes red, which is nice. But now we want to have some kind of mechanics which will make our screen to get back to normal, and it should be also very smooth mechanics, as I said. So back to our UI controller. Now, to make everything opposite way, we will go in the update, and here we will check if our damage effect dot color dot alpha explanation marks and equals, it means that is not 0. So it means that, for example, when we get damage, our alpha will be 0.2. So update will check and see that we are damaged because alpha will not be 0. And now we should basically take this and we will copy this line because we want this one. And only difference will be, instead of saying 0.2, here we can say basically 0, but it will make our screen to go back immediately. Instead, we want some smooth movement. That's why we'll use one method, which is instead of this 0.2, which is mathf move towards, mathf dot move towards. Now, what this mathf.move towards does is it just takes a transition between two values, and also it can have some kind of fade out speed. So it's exactly what we want. So let's open our brackets one more time, and into our move forwards, we want to say damage effect dot color dot alpha, because it's one value, and we want to transition to 0, because when our alpha is 0, we will get back to normal. After that, we will say comma, and then we can have some fade out speed, so it will be damage fade speed, and we will multiply it to time dot delta time. Now it's very long function, as you see, so I will make sure that you see everything. So basically what we did, we just created new color here. We first of all checked if our alpha is not 0, it means that we are damaged and we should go back to normal. Then we created new color. We left R, G, and B unchanged, and for the alpha, we use this mathf.moveTowards method, which, as I said, takes two values and makes transition between those values. And first value will be our alpha, which will be at 0.2 at that moment. And we transition our screen back to 0, because when it's 0, our screen is normal. Then we have some fade out speed, and we multiplied it through time dot delta time, so for some smooth movement. And we can save this script. It might be a little bit confusing at first, but if you have not seen how to work with colors before, but you just need to practice bit and you will get to the points. So let's save our script. Let's go back and let's see if everything is working. Let's start playing and let's check our screen. First of all, we need to get damaged, so we need our enemies to shoot at us. Yeah, bullets are coming, and let's see. And indeed, we have some damage effect going on. I quite like it, how it goes. So basically, we can have some bigger numbers here, bigger alpha, and it will make our damage screen to look more intensive, but I think those numbers look fine, but it's up to you. You can change your numbers how you want.